Welcome to the joy of arting on the channel The Joy of Arting, which was previously Memorial to the Art by Robert Ish by Bernardo Sembrini, which was before that Art by Robert Ish. I am Mike Arsbroken, and with me is Kanye Fixit. We're going to be running the channel now, and we intend to run it quite well, better than Barnardos did, but Barnardos has disappeared. He moved to Cuba. We don't know how, in amongst the pandemic and everything, but we'll talk about that later. Well, he's gone. Robert Ish is still missing, and but Simeon, is it Simeon? Is it Simeon or Simon? I think it's Simon. Simon Beak. Simon Beak decided he didn't want anything to do with the channel, being the ungrateful creep he is. He's a bit of a pervert as well. You wouldn't believe some of the things he said to me last night, because we met up with him to try and discuss what the future would be with this channel, and we were talking and we were talking and we were talking, but we never really got anywhere, because he really did not want to have the conversation. He obviously didn't want to have anything to do with the channel, and he only was making very, very crude remarks, and they made me quite nervous. It was not very nice of him, but I have a bit of a bone to pick with him anyways, so I think he might have just been doing it to wind me up, because he's such a petty little person. He's like a toddler. He's like a toddler in preschool, out in the yard, right out in the yard. They're talking and they're throwing insults, calling each other names. He gets so petty. And he gets so petty sometimes. It's snobbing Bernardo Semprini. I mean, I don't like him either. I think he's gone off to Cuba and he's going to start a coup. Is that how you pronounce it? Is that how you pronounce it, Mike? It's a coup? A coup where you're overthrowing the government, and he's doing it in Cuba. I don't know how he got to Cuba, but he got to Cuba and he's trying to start a coup. I don't know why, I don't know how, especially with all this pandemic stuff. I don't know how he got to getting a flight and then over to Cuba, then into the borders. I don't know how he plans to do a coup if everyone's got to stay distanced and everything. I mean, it's kind of hard to organise a political rally if you're 2 meters away from everyone and you can't have too many people. I mean, there's a thing about grouse hunting, isn't it? You can have 30 people if you're grouse hunting. So maybe they'll all say they're going grouse hunting and each one's an individual group of grouse hunters. It'd be great if the guy who ran Cuba was called Grouse, because I think that's what they're trying to do in this coup. It's not called a coup, it's a coup. Like what the pigeons say, and you go down to feed the birds, and you see you see the animals, and then you see the birds. You see the animals like the pigs and the rabbits and what are they called? It's the thing that screams at you if you touch it. It starts beating you and saying, "Get away from me, you horrible creep." It's a person, human. A human, if you touch a human, they start screaming at you. Then you see all the other animals. Then you see all the other animals like lynxes and cougars, and you see a few bits of oh, what are they called? It's the big things, the bears. You see bears, and then you see birds, and you feed the birds, and they go coo, 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 and there's so many of them. I'm sure they're breaking distance things, and obviously they're not staying at home if they're out in the park. But then they're probably trying to start a coup as well, and that's how you say it. It's not a coup, it's coup. Thank you, Mike. That's really enough now. So he's trying to start a coup in Cuba. It's quite a sudden jump from being arted in training, running this channel, to doing that. I mean, that, of all things, starting a cube in Cuba. But cubes in Cuba are quite common. I mean, they even named the country after it. But anyways, he's gone. Ish is missing. And through a long chain of events, we studied under Robert H. And we studied rubbish very, very hardly. We studied or stubborn. We studied him a lot. We studied rubbish closely and viciously and ruthlessly. Mike here, he was very good at it. In fact, he'd study Mr. Ish even whilst he was sleeping, and he'd wake up in the middle of the night and he'd look over and he'd go, "Mr. Air's broken. I have come to watch you." Is that a good impression of you, Mike? It's quite a good impression, I think. I found it offensive, to say the least. Thank you. In fact, I really wish you'd just, go off into the middle of the road or something and just disappear if you're going to say stuff like that. It's not offensive. It's not offensive at all. I think it's quite accurate. This is pointless. Look, we don't even have anything to draw. We're just looking at old drawings. We've been sitting on that one picture for 6 minutes. That's no good thing, This is the latest drawing by Robert Ish. He made it before he disappeared. I don't know if he's already done a video of it. Sorry, you haven't had time to look through the video yet, and it gets a bit Mike. Mike! Be quiet. Gets a bit hard looking for all the videos sometimes. Old memories and everything, and then it gets into Bernardo Semprini. And he's horrible. He's so inflated. He's a bigot, he's a creep. Puffed up like a little puffer fish. But I promise we'll have much more to talk about once we start doing art and drawing and everything. But right now we just want to look through this, and we want to say we hope we can get this channel going well, and we hope we have a bit of a longer lifespan than the last people who've been running this. And we're not going to go to Cube and start a cube. A cube? Shut up. A cube, not a cube. It's a cube. I know how to write. You think I'm going to be mispronouncing how I write? I mean, really, it's a cube, not a queue. I mean, a queue, you said it yourself, that's the thing that birds do. Birds, you go out, you go and see the animals, and you see the birds, and you go, "Oh, look, they're free, like a bird." But they're not, because they're in the park, and they can't leave. Because all the beams and everything the government put there to keep them in. Those are the same beams that started World War II. I hope you know that. They're communist beams that the government put in there. Mr. Fix-It, can you fix it? I think you said enough now. He gets a bit troublesome sometimes. He's a bit of a... He makes a few odd theories up. He has a bit too much time to himself in his head, and his head is not a nice place to be. So you've got to feel sorry for Paul, can you fix it? I can hear you. I can hear you. I hope you know that. Just because you're standing in the corner doesn't mean I can't hear you. Alright? Right, well, there's obviously no more to talk about here if he's going to be like that. Mike, you're intolerable. You're absolutely intolerable. I'd rather have Simon Beep. I'd rather have Mr. Beak here than have you here. Maybe we can get him to do the channel instead. Maybe that would be nice. Would that be nice? Would you like that? Would you like Mr. Beak here on the channel instead of you? You could go and run the Beak channel. You could go out into an alleyway and eat garbage because that's just what you like. You're like a little raccoon. You're cute, but you're nasty if you get in because they're so tiny they fit through the cracks. Millions of them everywhere, walking in chains and lines, emerging from their raccoon hill. Eating sugar. Nasty. That's what you're like, Mike. That's what you're like. You're like Mike. So, we have a very good grasp on reality here. That's Joy of Arting. This is our channel, and we use it well. It is our voice to the people. Eh? And we have good skills at writing and talking. And we're good at making the channel as well. So you can expect to see some very good stuff coming out of this. You can expect to find touching stuff, highlighting the worst issues of the current, mindset of the general human populace, blindly following sheep wherever they go, walking off of ravines like pom-poms. It's pointless. And we're going to try and bring you out of that with our wonderful channel. Like this. Like that. Like that. You know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like a revolution. A revolution of art. This is the next Renesonsp. There was a Renesonsp in the 1500s, right through to the 1700s. That was a long Renesonsp. You can have enough one now, from whatever year this is, through to whatever year the next one will be. We could do that with this. Because look at this beautiful art. Look at it. It's fantastic. And you know what? That was made by Ish, right as he was going crazy. Then he disappeared. And Barnardos, he didn't do any art at all. He just got into an argument of Simon Beek. That's all he did. We're going to do art. And we're better than Mr. Ish. Oh, wonderful rubbish. We can do better than him. Look at how fantastic this is. And ours will be taking it to the next level. Can you? You've got to end the video now. The police are at the door. You get to go. It's going to be, he's right, this is beautiful cruelty art. And we're going to take it to the next level. I'm going to try and get as many words in as I can around Mr. Fix-It. I may have studied with him, but he may not, that doesn't necessarily mean I like him. This channel will not be devoted to petty arguing, like it was under Mr. Semprini. Instead, we're going to devote it to art. And as soon as ever we can, we're going to produce beautiful art. And we're going to do it well. And in the spirit of the late, great Robert Ish. Thank you. And good night.